What is going on, everybody? Depraved Slash here. We are back with another music reaction. I'm Depraved.
I'm Hellcat.
And together we are
HellaDepraved.
So we kind of have a treat for you. We're doing two songs
And
in one.
It's kind of a treat because it's a prelude and a song.
You mean interlude?
Whatever.
Okay.
Something along those. It's a lude. It's a lude.
So this...
Sinludes.
Sinludes.
Definitely.
So... this is going to actually kind of shorten the length of time it's going to take to react to everything by a track because with it being an interlude, you just kind of combine them.
Yeah.
And it's 2 for 1.
If we see it in time to combine. Because there have been certain times that an intro gets its own because we didn't know. But yeah.
Right.
It's nice that it is titled as such. And this whole album so far has been fantastic.
Agreed.
I'm so excited for Ariel and Sean with this whole concept that they put together.
My favorite song so far is still Enemies.
Enemies was fucking fantastic.
Yes.
Still, yeah, that's got to be my favorite. Although Brittle was also incredible. But, you know,
True.
All of them have been definitely top of the charts. So, anyway.
So, we're going to react to 13. What we'll do is we'll probably listen through 13 all the way through. It's only like a minute, unless we,
unless there's something that,
to pause. And then we'll talk about it, and then we'll go into this actual
Background
song,
sad.
which is Background Sad.
Right.
Thank you for reminding me, because I would not have remembered. So yeah, so with that being said, we're going to react to this if you guys already heard them. If you have not. Now, the link in the description below is to Background Sad. It's not to the interlude.
Right.
You can find the interlude 13 on
their playlist.
But go listen to them, come back, and we say that because we are more of a reaction breakdown channel. We're going to talk about them, talk about how they relate to us, talk about whatever we talk.
Right.
So.
And keep in mind, guys, that they are independent artists. They do this all through crowdfunding and support. So please do go sub and like and comment. It doesn't cost you anything.
With that being said, it is time to slash down and break it down. This is Icon for Hire with 13, the interlude. Let's get it.
I'm not someone I want to be. Felt this way since I was 13. Thought I'd gotten better, but it was just a phase, yeah. It was just a phase, yeah. It was just a phase. I always end up back at the keys. I play an A minor cause it feels like me. Thought I'd gotten better, but still can't really play. Still can't really play. Still can't really play. Just keep going, 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 just keep going.
Oof.
Okay. The line
That gave me chills.
that stood out to me the most was I keep playing in A minor because that's how I feel.
Right. Always end up back at the keys. Can only play in minor. Yeah, I mean...
She feels like she's a very minor person.
She feels small. Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, a fair number of these songs have been about, you know, mental disease in terms of depression and anxiety and panic attacks, and a lot of people that suffer from that, including myself, kind of close in on ourselves because we don't want to inconvenience other people. We don't want to bring their moods down. We're not exactly sure how to approach the topic with certain people. I certainly feel like I go on repeat. Like she said, I thought I got over it, but apparently that was the phase. And this is the true me, is the depressed me. Because I'll feel like that. Like, I phase back and forth, and I'll be like, oh, I think I'm better. Like, I'm in a better place now. I'm more mature. I've learned my lesson. No. Like, you know, I'll be sucked under. Last night was prime example. I had a horrible day yesterday, and it was just a thought process. Like, something hit me, and I just took off from there. You know, it's like, I thought I was doing better with that particular subject. No, not so much. And she goes to the keys. I mean, I love that this was acoustic. I normally go to my journal. Of course, last night was not. Sometimes I'm just not even in the place that I can start writing.
So, again, since I've been with you, I have very rarely slipped into depression. I can think of maybe 3 times it's happened. And every time it's happened is while I'm at work.
Right.
And I think a lot of that stems from... And every time it's happened, it's been in a string of 10-hour work days, working Saturdays. And It's usually that Friday or Saturday that I really start to get down. Right.
It's normally actually, like, also when we're supposed to have the kids. And you've just either been told that you have to work and didn't know that you were going to be working that Saturday, or... Right. Yeah.
So, like I said, I don't struggle with it as much now.
Right. Well, I mean, I got in the funk yesterday while you were at work. Normally, if you're here and one of those thoughts kind of creeps into my brain, because they do pretty consistently, especially since this particular topic is so deep.
Right.
But on the flip side, when you're home, like, I can come snuggle. I can start asking, like, what movie can we watch? You joke around all the time. You make me laugh, so I don't fall into the depression. But yeah, when you're at work, you know, that's when I slip.
And then I come home and tell you stop being a grumpy butt.
Pretty much. I mean, like, guys, not in a he dismisses my depression kind of way. No, it's more like he listens. If there's nothing that we can do about it, which honestly there's not a whole lot, then we try and move on while still respecting the fact that the other person had a bad day.
You had a bad day. Fuck, I hate that song.
Right. There you go. But I really
there goes
like...
my depression. My fucking lighter's over there.
I really like that she put this acoustically in the middle of everything, just kind of like reminding everyone and herself that this happens.
Tonight, I'll be eating a pork bun.
I don't care what you eat.
You'll cycle back at some point, and that's honestly, it's okay. It's not. None of us enjoy it, but it's not, you know.
Right.
Unusual, I guess, is what I'm. All right, background sad.
All right, so yeah, this is called background sad.
This one we probably will pause and talk in the midst of,
right.
Because we're old and we can't remember things at the very end. And is she gonna make me cry? Because that one was touching. I'm worried.
No, I'm touching. All right, so with that being said,
He's got jokes.
Icon for hire, background sad. Let's get it. Sad, not sad. Background sad. Background melancholy. Nah, background sad. That's good.
Come a long way the hard way, and maybe I made it too hard. Been a long fight, the wrong kind, that breaks you and leaves you unsure. Been fighting to feel like myself, not sure that's what I want anymore. Feeling like me is probably the problem I've had all along. I tell everyone I got better, but what if I'm not? It's hard to face face the truth sometimes. It's hard to face the truth. Oh, and I tell everyone it gets better. But what if I'm wrong? It's hard to tell the truth sometimes. Am I always gonna just be background sound?
Oh. I was getting chills.
Oh, did I pause at a bad time?
Yeah,
I do that all the time.
I know you do.
Usually right before the chorus.
I mean, like, you cut off the word sad. It's okay, but, like, I knew it was building to that, and I was like, shit, is she going... Yes, she's gonna say that. Am I always gonna be background sad? I've asked myself that question many a time.
Maybe. Until I do this.
Well, help. The answer is yes, I am always going to be. No. I like that I mean, this is definitely very relatable to me.
It is.
Especially, like, I may have taken the hard way. Yeah, I know I took the hard way, guys. Like, consistently. That is my MO. But, like, maybe the problem is, like, I've all along, I've been like, I just want to feel like me. Maybe that's the problem. Like, maybe I should feel like somebody not me.
Feel like me.
I'll just feel you.
That works too.
Yeah, I mean.
No, aside from... I think, honestly, I mean, I know a fair amount of people that don't deal with depression at all.
Me too.
They're usually the very happy-go-lucky, bright, everything.
The ones that annoy the heck out of me, and I'm like, it's mean of me that they annoy me.
There's like one or two of them I don't want to choke.
Well, I always feel like it's mean. Like they are just legit happy people, and here I am hating on them because their brightness can go the fuck away from me. You know,
Right.
and they're not doing anything to intentionally antagonize me, but I'm like, you haven't been smacked with the real world yet, have you? Like,
Which sucks, because in a lot of cases, some of the people I know are in their 40s
right,
and still haven't been smacked by the real world yet.
Oh.
They're just like, oh, everything's great.
right. And you're like, you're either naive or... Now, some people are legit like that. It's just, my brain can't grasp that.
No.
It's like, I was like, have you not, like, watched the news or just anything in general? Like, are you in a bubble?
Right. But, like, as far as, like, me personally, I'm concerned, I think a big part of my depression for a lot of my adult life has been my loneliness.
Right.
A lot of that has been cured.
Right.
Thankfully. But there's always a part of me that often thinks about other things. Like, I can barely... I feel like a lot of my life I barely live up to my own expectations, let alone anyone else's.
Right.
Which my standards are way lower for myself than what a lot of other people's are.
You say that.
Until I start writing music.
Right.
And then I rewrite it. And rewrite it.
Honestly, though, like, I would say the same for myself, but then if I actually legit think about it, I'm like, no, my expectations for myself starting off were super high. They've only gone down over time because I've come to grasp with what I can and cannot do, especially with the fibro added in. And that makes me super sad that, like, right. I never got to live up to these dreams I had. Now, some of them, it's just reality smacked, you know. Some of it is the fibro taking place. Some of it is monetary. But all of that stuff just kind of makes a combo, and I'm like, oh, I'm not this, you know, person that I dreamed of at 12.
For me, it's similar, but also way different. Because there are things that I definitely thought by the time I am where I'm at now, age-wise,
right,
I would be.
Have accomplished, or, yeah.
Whether it was a certain career path I had planned, living arrangements.
Right.
I mean, when I was a kid, I was going to live in a mansion, be married to the supermodel of the year. Unrealistic expectations. Now, she is my supermodel.
He said that at the same time as I read.
That was just bad timing. She is my
There
supermodel.
is no such thing as coincidences.
Oh, no, it was a very bad coincidence. She is my supermodel. But, again, as a kid, I had different ideas.
Right.
As I've gotten older,
They're
the
more
things I
realistic,
want in life have actually changed.
Yeah, me too. And
Like-
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that there hasn't been a change, and it's not just reality, but like legit what is important in life, and like really doing some deep searching to sit down and be like, okay, what were expectations that other people put on me that really have nothing to do with what I want from life and what's important to me. And I have done that, and therefore, you know, like, those are childish dreams, basically, that I'm bringing up. But the reality of not achieving certain things, and it's honestly nothing huge in my case, still kind of makes me sad. Being an empath, just in general, like, I don't like watching the news, listening to the news. I don't like watching all of the fighting on Twitter. I don't like, you know, there's a whole bunch of stuff out there that I sequester myself from because it makes me fucking actually more mad than anything.
Baby, stay off Twitter. Me, Dwayne, and
That's
Rescheme are yelling at people.
That's kind of funny, but like, you know, there's so much in terms of just hate out there, and that stuff wears on me.
Right.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. So there's just I don't know. I think there is a part of me that will always be background sad. And honestly, I think that that's linked in with empathy. And, you know, they say that the more intelligent the person, the more likely they are to be depressed. And I think that's because a lot of us are realists. And we see what's going on and interpret it.
We see the world as it is instead of how...
through rose-colored glasses.
We want it to be.
And honestly, guys, I have nothing against people that are legit happy, don't suffer from depression. I just don't understand them entirely.
I do. Stay the fuck away from me. No. Okay.
No, I mean, like, I'm glad that there are some people out there that are not legit background sad all the time. I'm happy for them. I just, even with all of the psychology classes I've taken and my ability to put myself in other people's shoes, and they are a breed that is anathema to me. I do not understand. Like, how I don't know. But I'm loving this, and I love that this is a lighter sounding song. It's not as heavy in the rock. It's definitely, you can envision her still at the piano playing, even though it's not acoustic anymore.
Right.
Tell the truth sometime. Am I always gonna just be background sad, waiting for the storm clouds to clear in my head. Background sad, wondering if this is as bad as it gets. Am I always gonna just be getting high, telling myself it's alright? Doesn't matter how hard I try. Am I always gonna just be background sad? Yeah. I got pictures and pictures of documentation I keep, looking for answers and patterns I've hidden in me. I don't need the world in my hands. Think I'd be happy with halfway content. I should grow up and shut up. I'm probably wanting too much. Oh, and I tell everyone it gets better, but what if I'm wrong? It's hard to tell the truth sometimes. Am I always gonna just be
So I stopped it before she got
Yeah.
too sad.
Yes. Good job.
In life, as a whole, I've learned to just be happy with being half content.
Yeah. I mean, at 40, ish. Like I'm real close. Yeah. Halfway content is actually really good. And I'm not saying that to be like half, glass half full or anything. Honestly, I'm a realist. The glass is refillable. However, I think so many of the things that we think will make us happy, that our brain tells us will make us happy, aren't really that important, but then we get sort of confused and are never content with what we have.
Right.
So I think halfway content is sort of that place where the rest of the stuff that you wish to acquire isn't a necessity. I think the place where I'm the best at is with the people that surround me. The energy that I'm putting out, and am I getting a return for it? Are people sucking away my energy? Like, I keep my circle super small, and at this point I'm more than content with the friends and family and relationships I've developed. And that is one of the most important things to me.
Right.
But, I think sometimes it's hard to tell the truth it's a subtle double in terms of you can't tell the difference between not necessarily speaking truth versus lies, but also tell the truth. What are you giggling at?
I was thinking about the stupid supermodel thing, and it reminded me of the time. So guys, I call my kids fatheads all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And
it's their term of endearment.
I am so used to it. I'm like, hey fathead, move. Hey fathead, this. So I'm talking to her one night. This type of shit happens all the time.
It really does.
Where I look at her and I'm in the process of calling her fathead, and then I realize that's what I call my kids. So I stop midway. So it just comes out, hey fat, and I stop. And she's like, really? And I'm like, shit.
And honestly, guys, my really was sort of like a really, that's what you came up with. Not like, oh my God, you just call me fat. It was just a moment that I could tell he meant to start calling me fathead. And I was like, really? Like, you couldn't just fucking finish it. You had to stop at fat. Like, yo, fatty, what's up? It's like, oh my God.
And I don't think she's fat.
That is not gonna...
how many diet ads she gets on
Jesus.
Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook will not stop with that. It's like collagen support for losing weight. I'm like, okay, all right, I get the hint, and I'm ignoring it. But what I was saying is, when she says it's hard to speak the truth sometimes, or tell the truth sometimes, it's also, it's both spoken word, because she's talking about telling other people that it gets better, and is she lying? But also sometimes it's hard to differentiate between.
It does, though.
Yes and no. I think each situation gets better, and as you experience all these things, you learn to deal with things better. Like, you get better tools to deal with things.
So,
I mean, it depends, though.
People that are, especially younger people, that spend a lot of their time depressed. I mean, I was a teenager that spent a lot of time.
Me too, yeah.
Depressed. And again, I think back to the time where I almost unsubscribed from life.
Right.
And I look back and almost laugh at myself. Because there are so many things since then that I've experienced
that were worse, that
are far more important to me than the idea of ending it when I was thinking of doing so.
Right.
Like, it has gotten better overall. Right. I mean, there's always pain. That's part of life.
Right.
And honestly, without pain, you wouldn't feel alive.
Right.
It's a necessary feeling, whether it's physical or emotional.
I mean, the problem with depression and everything is that it tricks you into being sad at times that you don't necessarily, that there's like nothing external that you should be sad about. You know, but I think that, having said that, because I spent the majority of my life depressed, there are things that you learn over time, both about yourself and about your surroundings, that help you to deal with the process better and better each time. So does it get better in terms of like, will your brain ever stop producing depression? No. However, can you probably get a handle on it before you deep dive better? Yes. And will that particular problem resolve enough that you can be halfway content? Yes, most likely. Right. So again, you know, and also I think, as we were talking about, as you get older or more mature, you start kind of narrowing down what's really important to you. And as you get rid of a lot of the external stressors that were unnecessary, and really pare it down and start devoting yourself towards what's important, you get rid of a lot of the stressors that are causing unnecessary depression, you know. So right. I don't know, but again, it's the way she phrased it, you know, that sometimes it's hard to decipher yourself what's true and what's just depression, and then the spoken word in terms of you're telling people it gets better, like, am I lying to them?
Right.
So
it's hard to tell the truth sometimes. It's gonna just be background side, waiting for the storm clouds to clear in my head. Background side, wondering if this is as good as it gets. Am I always gonna just be getting by, telling myself it's alright? Doesn't matter how hard I try. Am I always gonna just be background side? Will I always be waiting? And what is it I'm chasing? These questions could drive someone crazy. I don't wanna spend the rest of my life asking myself, am I always gonna just be background side, waiting for the storm clouds to clear in my head. Background side, wondering if this is as good as it gets. Am I always gonna just be getting by, telling myself it's alright? Doesn't matter how hard I try. Am I always gonna just be background side? Yeah.
I loved it. Yeah.
You know what? All right. So you're gonna see like a weird glitch. We had to pee. Yeah. That's taken care of.
We're good.
Okay. So what? Okay. So. We talked a lot about how we deal and manage with depression during our Massive Man album review.
Right.
Which, if you guys ever want to hear super extensive thoughts on our feelings and what we go through, I'd say watch the album review, not just to listen to good music, but we talk.
It's a fucking fantastic.
It was a 13-song album
review. It was like 2.5 hours.
And it was 2.5 hours, which is the longest review we've had of any album.
However, Massive Man is another artist that focuses on mental disease. If Icon for Hire, if their messages appeal to you, that would be another artist to check out.
Yes, and I've learned something through listening to all these. I don't cry during depressing music.
Right.
Even when I'm depressed.
Right.
And because I've actually been thinking about, now there are songs that can make me cry, but they usually deal with, one song specifically will make me cry because of depression, and that's because it's the song that literally saved my life.
Right.
But most songs, if something's going to make me cry musically, it is because of a sad situation in the song.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's like family members dying or something like that. I don't know. I can't sit here and just list off songs
Right.
that do make me cry or whatever. But I've noticed, specifically with music, again, songs that are depressing, things that usually would make somebody cry, I relate too easily to it
Right.
to actually be
It's like
sad.
it's a common stasis, like, or a common status, and therefore it's like, oh yeah,
I know how that feels.
yeah, been there. I do that often. Come here often? Yes, I do.
And I think a part of it's now I had a point that I was trying to get to, and I don't know how I'm going to reach to that point, so I'm just going to jump to it. One of the things I've learned to deal with, or depression's helped me with, is making me appreciate the brighter days when they're
Right.
there more.
Agreed.
And I think one of the things that triggered this thought in my head was she had a line talking about the storms in my brain.
Right.
And immediately I was like, yeah, in my mind, I was thinking, those storms suck. I've been there.
Right. But when they clear up.
But when they clear up, it makes everything seem so much brighter.
Right.
And it's just like that in real life, with real life storms. Like, things look super gloomy, and then
Right.
after the storm's over, there's fucking rainbows and goddamn
Right.
birds.
Everything's clear. It's refreshed. Yeah.
And I think it's an example of why, again, if you guys go watch the Massive Man reaction, I was 100% okay
Until the happy song.
the entire fucking album, and
Very
then the
last
happy moment in that song is
Well,
what
it's
moved me to
resolution.
tears. And it's because I feel like so many of us take those happy moments for granted and don't realize they're the happy moments until we're back into the depression.
Right.
Because we get back into that cycle of depression and we're like,
Everything sucks.
everything sucks, I'm never happy. And it's like, no, there are still moments.
Right.
And the
And
more
we have
you
to learn
learn
to treasure them.
to grasp and treasure those moments, the somewhat easier it is
To realize there
to
will be
fight
those
through
moments again.
and get to those moments.
Yeah. Now, I'm just not a crier in general, which
Right.
you at this point know. There are a few things that will make me tear up, and normally they are like the happier moments, like during movies. I can watch murder, mayhem, and depressing stuff without tearing up at all. You get me like a little happy moment where there's some resolution or, something super sweet, and I'm like, but again, when crap happens in my life too, a lot of times I won't cry. And I'm not saying that that's a good thing, guys, because honestly, at this point, it feels like I've cried so much in my life that I don't have any tears left. Because I'll have crap happen, like the stuff that has recently been causing the depression. I didn't cry. Maybe I should have, but it didn't happen, and I'm not one to force myself. So sad songs, like at the beginning of this, I was like, is she gonna make me cry? Certain moments will make me tear up a little bit occasionally. This one was definitely like close to home, touching.
Right.
I definitely relate to it. Gave me the chills for sure when she hit the chorus the first time. The background's sad. I absolutely love this, but most things don't make me cry. So,
Right.
yeah.
But no, it was an absolutely beautiful song.
Yeah.
Very well done. And I do think it's something that a lot more people go through nowadays.
I also think a lot more people are willing to admit it. I'm not saying that's the only thing. I'm saying that a lot more people are willing to admit things these days.
I will say a lot more people are willing to admit it nowadays, but I definitely think depression's something that's risen exponentially
Oh yeah.
over the last 20,
yeah.
30 years. Even
I
40,
think
50
I
years.
think it's been on the rise every generation, honestly.
It's...
Yeah.
the pressure of trying to change things for the better generationally,
Right.
mixed in with societal expectations.
Mixed in with the destruction that humanity is causing exponentially as we grow in population. The social media, while it's good, it's also bad on the other hand, in terms of we now have a basis for comparison that we try and rank ourselves on. Whereas,
We as people, not we specifically. We don't
yeah,
care.
but when I was in high school, there was no social media. I mean, you could do AOL online or whatever with your modem, and if your parents didn't pick up the other line. But I wasn't out there looking at what society was saying other kids my age should be doing. I mean, was I comparing myself to kids in my high school or whatever? Sure. But not everywhere.
And again, there's still so many other things that go into it too. I mean,
Right.
a lot of it, social media, like
There's a lot of factors.
there are things like my kids go through that I definitely never had to worry about.
Right.
Like if I got picked on at school, when I got home, it stopped.
Right. But now
Kids get picked on at school now. They
phones,
come home and
texting.
it's all over Twitter,
Yep.
Facebook,
Yep.
Instagram.
Like I said, I think the bad is just become as widespread as the good now. And we're all faced with it day in, day out. It's not something we can really escape from. Whereas, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we could go home. So on and so forth. Also, if you fuck up now, it's out there forever. So, I mean, yeah. But there's all sorts of factors that go into it, and I think this song is completely relatable for anybody that suffers basically any kind of depression. Any kind. Doesn't matter if it's situational or, mental, just...
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent
Beautiful.
song. So, we've droned on for 37 minutes. So with that being
We're
said,
not sorry.
if you guys like the video, slash that like button, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, comment down below what did you think of Icon for Hire with both 13 and Background Side, which 13 played very well into Background Side.
It really did. Like I said, you could almost still imagine her sitting playing at the piano, even though Background Sad was no longer acoustic.
Right.
It was a very nice transition.
Also, comment down below if there's anything else that you guys want to see reaction to. Check the description below for all the things.
Push our buttons. Come join us on our other social media platforms, mostly Twitter if you want a quicker response.
With that being said, we love you guys. Thank you all for watching. Can't wait to see you depraved people later. Peace. I flipped screens when I didn't need to.